In the last week before the midterms, the political landscape is coming back around to where it all started 2 years ago. Immigration is the central topic. By deploying troops to the border and planning an executive order on birthright citizenship to rein in birth tourism, the president is making it clear that the border, and whether it exists at all or ought to be defended, is the central issue. Brian Dean Wright is a Democrat, a former CIA officer, and he joins us tonight. Brian, thanks a lot for coming on.
What a pleasure.
So you're a lifelong Democrat from a family of Democrats from Eastern Oregon, moderate FDR Democrats. So taking Trump, the man, out of the equation, when they hear policies like this, send troops to the border, end birthright citizenship for illegal immigrants, what's their response as Democrats to that?
Positive. And the reason is that I think most folks feel a degree of compassion, certainly in my own family, for the people in Central and South America who are struggling economically. They're in places of poverty.
Well, sure.
But most people understand, my family included, that we have laws for a reason. And you can't come in uninvited and unvetted and just march across the border. And secondarily, you can't come to the country, have children, and have very poor English abilities, and certainly poor ability to get a job and support your own family, and then expect a country or a bunch of other people to support you. So I think my family is like most in that we want to have compassion for folks who are struggling and suffering, but we also believe that people come here because of the rule of law. And if you don't have the rule of law, you don't have the stability needed to create and grow and create a country that attracts people.
Well, exactly. And you're also from a part of the country that doesn't get a lot of attention, which is to say you're not from New York, Los Angeles, or Washington, D.C. And so the zip code that you grew up in, the town that you're from, is it a lot richer than it was 10 years ago? Probably not, right?
No.
So do people there wonder, a lot of attention is being paid to foreign nationals, but what about us?
Sure. Well, look, I think that you have heard that over the past 20 or 30 years. You had NAFTA, certainly, the Chinese entry in the WTO, that gigantic sucking sound that Ross Perot talked about in the 90s, when China started grabbing a lot of those industrial manufacturing facilities in different parts of the country. That impacted places where I come from, right? In my hometown was impacted. Our timber mill shut down. So absolutely people get frustrated that they feel like they have been left behind. And the Democratic Party, I think, has done a very poor job at rallying the people in rural communities because they focus now on identity politics, right? If you are, particular colored skinned, if you're a woman, if you are gay, whatever it is, that's who we want to focus on as a party. We're not interested in people in places that are more rural or people that don't fit that desired demographic by Democratic Party. And so I have certainly heard a continued frustration by my family, my friends, and I hope that the Democratic Party wakes up, and if they don't, then you know what? The Republicans should continue to do well, because they will serve the interest of the rural people better than anyone else.
I would say the leadership on the Hill of the Republican Party cares about rural people about as much as the Democratic Party does, which is not at all.
Fair enough.
But I think there is a growing realization that that's who they represent. Those are their people. Why do you think the Democratic Party explicitly attacks people from towns like yours?
I think that we have become, in their minds, the deplorables. That wasn't just a slip of the tongue by Hillary Clinton. We are the people who cling to our guns and our God, and that's a bad thing. Again, famous words spoken by President Obama. So for whatever reason, we have become expendable. And I think a part of that is because we don't have the numbers that you will find in more urban areas that can bring votes. And so our interests aren't of interest. And that's, frankly, the bottom line. It's a political calculus that we are not as important as we once used to be, which, by the way, will end up hurting us big time in the Senate, right?
Yeah, well, certainly it will. A despised minority group under attack by politicians, rural America. It's pretty disgusting. Thank you. You put it so nicely.
Pleasure.
Great to see you.
Thank you.